Have you ever checked your pocket change and wondered if you might be holding a fortune without even knowing it? Today, we're diving deep into the top 3 rare Washington quarter dollars that could be worth up to $100,000. These quarters may look ordinary, but their hidden minting errors and rare features make collectors go crazy for them. That's right, the 1965 Washington quarter dollar, one of the most common coins in American history, hides a few secret versions so rare that collectors would pay a fortune just to own one. We're uncovering the shocking truth behind these mysterious 1965 era quarters, how they were created, why they're so valuable, and how you might still find one in your pocket or old coin jar. The background: the year 1965 was a turning point in American coinage history. Silver prices were skyrocketing, and the U.S. Treasury faced a major crisis. People were hoarding coins, especially quarters and dimes, because their metal value was higher than their face value. So the U.S. Mint made a bold and controversial move. They decided to remove silver from circulating coins. Before 1965, all Washington quarters were 90% silver and 10% copper. Values that shocked collectors, but that's not even the rarest 1965 era. There are some varieties so scarce and so unique that they've reached values over $40,000, and experts believe a few could even cross the six-figure mark if found in pristine condition. How to identify a rare 1965 quarter? Now here's the part every collector and viewer wants to know: how to find one. Here are some tips to check your 1965 quarters for potential treasure. Check the weight. Use a digital scale accurate to 0.01 grams. Normal clad quarters equals 5.67 grams. Silver quarters equals 6.25 grams. If your 1965 quarter weighs around 6.2 grams or more, you might have a silver planchet error. Look at the edge. Clad quarters show a reddish copper stripe along the edge. Silver ones will look solid silver all around, no copper color. Check for doubled features. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to inspect the lettering and date for doubling or distortion. Listen to the sound test. Tap your coin gently on a hard surface. Silver coins have a higher pitched ring, while clad coins have a duller sound. Get it graded. If you think you found something special, send it to PCGS or NGC for professional grading and authentication. Even if your coin isn't the ultra-rare silver strike, some minor varieties or off-center strikes can still bring hundreds of dollars in value. Record sales and auction highlights. Let's talk about real auction records, because this is where the excitement truly hits home. Heritage Auctions 2016, a 1965 silver quarter, sold for $12,650. Stack's Bowers 2019, another specimen fetched $16,500. eBay private sales. Verified collectors have paid over $40,000 for pristine transitional errors. Some experts even speculate that a perfect mint state 1965 silver error, if discovered today, could reach $100,000 or more, especially if it's from an early die strike. That's the kind of coin that changes lives, and it's still possible that a few are sitting undiscovered in collections or change jars across America. The 1966 Washington quarter dollar might look ordinary, but a few rare error coins from this year have shocked collectors with their jaw-dropping prices at auctions, some selling for tens of thousands. And a few rumored examples reaching up to $1 million in private collections that could reveal whether you have one of these hidden treasures in your pocket right now. The background to understand why 1966 quarters are so special. We need to rewind to a time of chaos, the mid-1960s. The U.S. Mint was still recovering from the coin shortage crisis caused by rising silver prices. In 1965, the Mint stopped using silver for quarters and dimes for the first time. The coins were made from a copper-nickel clad composition, a sandwich of copper core and nickel outer layers, instead of 90% silver. The most valuable errors and varieties: double die errors, DDO, $1,000 to $5,000, off-center strikes, $1,500 to $3,000, broad-struck errors, $300 to $800, clipped planchet errors, $500 to $1,000, identifying rare 1966 quarters. Now let's talk about how you can identify these rare errors, even if you're not an expert. Here are 5 key steps every collector should know. Weigh your coin. A normal 1966 quarter weighs 5.67 grams. Anything around 6 to 5 grams could mean it's on a silver planchet. Check the edge. Look for a solid silver edge, no copper stripe. A reddish-brown line around the edge means it's a normal clad coin. Inspect under magnification. Look closely at and Liberty, doubling, or shadowed letters could mean a double die error. Examine the strike. Off-center designs or unusually wide coins could signal striking errors like broad strikes or partial colors. Get it graded. Always confirm with a reputable grading service like PCGS, NGC, or ANACS. A certified error coin always sells for more. Even if your coin isn't the $1 million silver strike, these subtle varieties can still earn you hundreds or thousands of dollars. Record-breaking auction sales. Let's look at some real auction results that prove how valuable 1966 quarters can be. Quarter struck on silver planchet sold for $8,625. Off-center error 75% off-center, sold for $3,000. Double die obverse in MS67 condition sold for $6,500. 1966 quarter struck on dime planchet sold for $9,200. Broad strike error sold for $1,250. And experts believe the next major discovery, especially a confirmed prototype or silver transitional piece, could break all records, with estimates reaching over $50,000 to $100,000. Yes, you heard that right. A 25-cent coin that could make you a millionaire. We're diving deep into the most valuable and rare 1967-era Washington quarter dollar ever discovered, from double strikes and off-center mintings to wrong plankets and full torch-proof-like beauties. Some of these coins have stunned collectors, breaking auction records that nobody saw coming. So grab your coin jar, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, and who knows, maybe your next coin find will be worth a fortune. The background. Let's rewind to the year 1967, a time when the U.S. Mint was still recovering from one of the most dramatic moments in coinage history. Just 2 years earlier, in 1965, the U.S. Mint completely removed silver from dimes and quarters. Before that, every Washington quarter was 90% silver, making it not just currency, but also a small piece of precious metal. But because of skyrocketing silver prices and coin hoarding across America, the most valuable errors and varieties struck on a silver planchet. $30,000 to $50,000. Double struck error, $1,000 to $3,000. Off-center strike, $2,000 to $5,000. Wrong planchet error, $5,000 to $15,000. Grading, authentication, and auction records. If you ever think you've found a 1967 error quarter, your next step is authentication. Send it to reputable grading services like PCGS Professional Coin Grading Service, NGC Numismatic Guarantee Company, ANACS American Numismatic Association Certification Service. A certified grade can dramatically raise your coin's value. For example, a 1967 silver planchet quarter, graded MS65 by PCGS, sold for $41,125. A double-struck 1967 quarter, graded MS64, sold for $3,600. A missing clad layer example reached $1,200. These prices prove that 1967 quarters, once thought ordinary, are now part of coin collecting legend. How to identify a fortune in your change. Here's what you should look for in your 1967 quarters. Weight check. Normal clad equals 5.67 grams. Silver planchet equals 6 to 5 grams. Nickel or dime planchet equals lower. Visual inspection. Look for double lettering, missing clad, off-centers, or weird rims. Sound test. Silver coins have a distinct, higher pitched ring when tapped gently. Color and shine. Silver plankets appear brighter, while clad quarters have duller tones. Always use a magnifying glass. Sometimes the difference between an ordinary coin and a $10,000 one is just a tiny detail.